1st, 2014, me and my wife, Mrs. Fresh Vinyl, we headed down to New York City for a day of toy hunting. That's right, Fresh Vinyl invaded New York City. So I didn't do it alone. Met up with fellow collectors, Paul Romero and his wife Emmy, and we met up with James Martinez, 2 members of the X Plus Collectors group. 2 members, plus me, avid collectors, hardcore, that's what's up, okay? So, the plan was, about 3 weeks ago, I made a post on the X Plus Collectors group, you know, hey, why don't we get together, get as many people as we can, hit up New York City, hit up all the toy spots in Manhattan, just, you know, and go toy hunting, you know, and it just fell together. So, there was, you know, some other people were going to join us and whatnot, but hey, there's always next time, and yes, there will be a next time. Stand by for the future date, maybe a couple months from now. Okay? So, 3 weeks ago, you know, we got all the plan together, and we decided March 1st, Saturday would be, you know, that would be the day that it was going to be. So, that's what happened. So, here's how the day started. Started bright and early for me. Me and my wife, we got up at 5 o'clock in the morning, got ready to rock. We got in the car at 6. A little after 6, you know, right around that time frame, we were in Manhattan in about 3.5 hours. 3.5 hours to New York City. Bam! Not bad. Not a bad drive coming from Boston, okay? So, we parked cars. Me and Paul, we both parked on the same street, 19th Ave. We just parked in separate garages. And then we grabbed a cab and we headed up to Times Square. You know, so meeting Paul was great. You know, obviously, if you guys watch the Fresh Vinyl Lives, you know, Paul's been a regular on there. And it's felt like I've known him longer than I've actually known him. So it was really great meeting him in person. So, you know, we had Fresh Vinyl Live, and then we had, like, Fresh Vinyl Real Time. It was, like, real world. Like, it's like a reality show, but, like, no cameras. Okay? Whatever. I don't know what I'm talking about. Alright, so, once we got to Times Square, it was something we had to do. It was very, very important. We had to go to Starbucks. We had to get coffee. So, I grabbed a large coffee. Now, here's the thing about Starbucks. He's like, you just can't go there and order a large coffee. You gotta, like, order a grande coffee black, you know, because I like my coffee black. I just drink it black, you know. But you gotta say all this fancy stuff, and I don't, just give me a large coffee. I don't, just give me a large coffee. What's so hard about that? I don't need a venti, a grande, a mochi, a cokie, whatever you want to call them. I don't know. So, we got the coffee, and we got it rolled. Okay? So, alright, so check it out. On a Fresh Vinyl Live hunting expedition, we're in New York City, and we're going to Midtown Comics. Midtown Comics. So, that's where we're going first, okay? Stay fresh. Our first stop was Midtown Comics, okay? So, we hit up Midtown Comics, and, it was pretty interesting there. Midtown Comics was pretty cool. That's where I bought my Gargantua set. And, you know, obviously some of the first things we were looking for were X Plus figures. But at Midtown, we didn't see any X Plus figures. No Diamond X Plus figures. There were a lot of SH Monster Arts. And I really think that was all we saw there was SH Monster Arts. They had pretty much everything. I didn't see Bachelor. Bachelor wasn't in stock yet at Midtown. So those are still working its way over from Japan. But here's some few pictures from Midtown Comics. Alright, so a lot of SH Monster Art stuff. Overall, Midtown Comics was pretty damn cool. A lot of cool stuff. Comic book figures, a lot of novelty stuff, t-shirts, whatever. A lot of good stuff at Midtown Comics. Also, that's when James Martinez met up with us. You know, he met up with us in Midtown, and then we started our adventure from there, and we headed next to Image Anime. Went to Image Anime next. Alright, so now what we're doing, we got Paul and James from the X Plus group. We're now headed to Image Anime, New York City, on Fresh Vinyl expedition, toy hunting. So that's what we're doing. We already hit up Midtown.
We didn't buy anything there. You know, it's okay. I don't even know what we're looking to buy. So that's what's up. It is Paul and James and our wives. Alright, so check it out. What we're doing now is we're going to Image Anime. James over there, Paul's over there. They're off camera, but we're going to go see what kind of Godzilla stuff they got. Okay? So that's what's up. Okay. Oh yeah. Keep walking. That's what's up.
Alright, so Image Anime was pretty damn cool. I did not get the owner's name, but he's been in business in Manhattan for quite some time now. He used to go, or probably, I don't know if he still goes to Chiller, but he goes to Chill Theater, which is down in Jersey. And he's been to the G-Cons that were held in New York City back in the late 90s, mid to late 90s. A lot of good knowledge. So he's been there a while, he's been doing the business for a while, knows a lot about the Godzilla industry, and from his perspective, he thinks that, well, and I agree with him, once Godzilla 2014 hits, it's going to be a big boom, or at least I'm hoping, for the sake of dealers around the country that sell Godzilla stuff. Once Godzilla 2014 hits, I hope there's going to be a big boom in collecting again. Bring some value back to the stuff that's lost value from the eBay boom, because that's one thing the owner from Image Anime said is, eBay ruined everything. And that's something that you've been collecting since the 90s, before eBay, before the internet, is that eBay ruined everything. It made it easier for young collectors, but guys that were selling stuff, man, just put holes in their pockets. Okay, so Image Anime was really cool. I met another YouTuber. His name is D Amazing. D space Amazing. Check his YouTube channel out. He does some figure reviews on some figure art stuff, and I got to check it out myself. I haven't had time since we just got back yesterday, March 1st. But D Amazing, check him out. He works at Image Anime. Really cool dude. After Image Anime, notice how I said we didn't buy anything yet, so that's coming.
Alright, so we just got out of Image Anime, and really good time there. So they got a lot of Godzilla stuff, a lot of Bandai stuff. They got the 50th anniversary memorial box. They even got the box for the 40th anniversary, the 95 memorial box. All the SH Monster Art stuff. A lot of good stuff. Great store. So if you're in the New York City area, make sure you check out Image Anime. I tried to get an interview with the owner, but it was a little busy in there. But he's been in business for quite some time. He's been in New York for a while, so he knows what he's doing. Good guy. So yeah, so now we're heading further uptown, or further downtown, excuse me, towards Forbidden Planet. So that will be our next stop.
So after Image Anime, we headed to Forbidden Planet. Now, at Forbidden Planet, I'm going to quote Paul here. He posted something on Facebook. He said that at Forbidden Planet, it is forbidden to have any Godzilla stuff. There wasn't much of anything there at all. At all. So, that was kind of a shock. I don't even remember seeing anything SH Monster Arts. Maybe there was a little. No X Plus stuff. Oh, also at Image Anime, the only X Plus we saw at Image Anime, back to Image Anime real quick, is they had a Godzilla 2000, 99. Or, the 1999 Godzilla, 30 centimeter. That's the only X Plus we saw at Image Anime. But back to Forbidden Planet, meh. They had a really cool Terminator T-800 life-size replica in the window, but that was about it, so. But Forbidden Planet was okay-ish. Alright, so our next stop was lunch. Because we're hungry, we're walking around New York City, man, we gotta get something to eat. So we headed to Union Square Cafe in Union Square. That is where our good friend Ryu Hayabusa works. He's a chef there, and I had made reservations earlier in the week prior to our arrival in Manhattan, and we went there for lunch. And Ryu hooked it up. Take a look at some of these awesome appetizers. Huh. Those are good. Those crab sticks were really, really good. And the bruschetta with the prosciutto on top, was just prosciutto with fresh mozzarella. Oh, man, it was so good. Very, very good. Lunch was phenomenal. Me and Paul got a nice glass of scotch. I got the Glenlivet. I forget what Paul got. I know we mixed it up. But, David, if you're watching this, you know, we were thinking of you by drinking a glass of scotch. Cheers. It was really good. Anyway, so lunch was great. Then, what did I have? I had like a chicken Milan. I had some chicken dish. It was really, really delicious. Very, very moist. Very breaded, well floured. Very good. Dessert. Ryu again hooked it up with dessert. Check out this picture. Now, isn't that fresh? Now that is fresh. Man, never would I have thought to see fresh vinyl on a dish in a restaurant prepared by a fellow collector. That is just awesome. I was really taken back by that. So I actually told our waitress to go to the back and find Ryu. And I told her, it's like, I just want you to give him a little kick. And when you kick him, go Ryu kick. You know, so she did that, and she said he got a good laugh out of that. But unfortunately, we did not get to meet Ryu in person. He was very, very busy. We went in probably the busiest time of the day for him, and I imagine on a Saturday in Manhattan. He's a chef there, cooking, so we felt your presence and spirit through your cooking. So next time, we will hopefully get you out, and we're going to buy you some drinks. You hooked it up, and now we're going to hook it up. It's a good time. Thank you very much, Ryu. We were all very, very, very gracious for your hospitality at Union Square Cafe. So, if you're in Manhattan, go check out Union Square Cafe. The food is absolutely delicious. Very, very delicious. After lunch, we then headed to Toy Tokyo. Toy Tokyo. Yup, we thought, well, not what we thought. You know, we knew going to Toy Tokyo that we were probably going to see the largest amount of Godzilla vinyl. And we did, in fact. You know, there was a lot of vinyl there. A lot of stuff that I have not collected. A lot of Marusan. There's some Marmot stuff. I do have Marmot stuff. There's a lot of stuff that I don't know much about. And I'm not really too keen on buying stuff without doing my homework. So, I didn't buy anything at Toy Tokyo, but here's some pictures from Toy Tokyo. Alright, so as you can see, there's a lot of stuff there. They got the Super Premium, Godzilla 94, they got the Super Premium, Gamma 99, a lot of good stuff, a lot of old stuff. I think it's old, at least it's reissued vintage figures, you know, from the early 2000s, you know, through to 2010. So, I did have my eye on, I think it was a Marusan Hedra, a gold one, because I like the gold stuff for some reason. But I didn't buy anything at Toy Tokyo. So, but it was a good time there. They did have the X Plus USA King Ghidorah statue, the resin statue, and we were kicking around some numbers with that, you know, possibility either, you know, well, Paul was thinking about it, but I was like, I'm not going for that. I'm waiting for X Plus to release the damn figure. So, Toy Tokyo was a good time. After Toy Tokyo, we headed to Sokka in Brooklyn. So we jumped on the train, on the subway, headed into Brooklyn to check out Sokka. Sokka was interesting. You know, we got there expecting that we were going to see, like, the grande amount of Godzilla figures, but that wasn't the case. I believe the manager, the store owner, his name is Toshi. Really nice guy, really cool. But we walked in there and we saw the first few display cases off to the right as soon as you walk in, and alright, cool. So it looks like there was stuff that was spread out. And then I saw some stuff in the back right, some Godzilla stuff, Gamma stuff, Ultra stuff. But then what caught my eye was in the back left, there is this fenced off area, and I saw a bunch of Bandai figures on the top shelf. You know, they were under a light and everything. I was like, ooh, that's where I'm going. So I instantly walked back there and come to find out that we weren't allowed back there to look at the good stuff. You know, so I was like, what's up with that? I mean, like, come on, like, you want to sell some stuff, like, let us look at it. You know, so Toshi, for having, you know, the right person, I believe, you know, he was a Japanese fellow, very nice. So he said, oh, that's, you know, he said he only had so much room for, you know, for whatever he had to display. So there was no room for the stuff in the back to have up front. So we couldn't go look at it because it was in the back. So we just had to look at it through the fence, which was kind of lame. But I understand. Now, my other perspective is he probably doesn't have 3 guys that are avid Godzilla collectors that know what they're talking about come in, going to look at the good stuff in the back, the expensive stuff, Bandai figures from the 80s with the tags. Some, you know, most of, actually, I think I had all the stuff that he had, you know, on that shelf anyways. But I still wanted to look at it. You know, maybe Paul or James didn't have it and they wanted to see it too. So, Paul asked to look at 2 Marmot Mothra fairies. And when Toshi grabbed them, you know, he realized that we know what we're talking about. You know, he realized that, you know, we're not just some dimwits off the street just wanting to look, see what he has in the back. You know, oh, so when he found out that we knew what he had back there, he let us go look, which was very nice of him. So, you know, I climbed up on a ladder because I'm kind of short. I can't see all the way up top. But he had quite a few older 90s Bandai figures. He had some model kits. He had a King Ghidorah from GMK. It was a GMK model kit. Pretty interesting stuff. The prices were pretty right, you know, in the $300–400 range for those model kits. So he had some good stuff, but nothing, at least that caught my eye, you know, as far as what I don't already have or stuff that I'm hunting for. But Sokka was cool. You know, I was a little taken back when we first went in there because, you know, we were looking through a fence at some stuff. A lot of cool books, some cool stuff. But, you know, nowadays, you know, like as a store owner, he's not getting people coming in looking for Bandai figures. You know, not like back in the 90s and the 2000s, you know, because that's when eBay took over. So that was Sokka. Sokka was fun. Paul did buy the Mothra fairies. What else did he buy? He bought something else. I forget what it was. So, on the toy hunting front, those were the spots that we hit. Toy Tokyo, the prices were not as outrageous as I thought they were going to be based off of other toy collectors' experience being there. I actually thought the prices were rather, you know, doable. They weren't blown out of proportion like I thought they were going to be. They had a lot of good stuff. Image Anime had a lot of good stuff, good prices. What else? So yeah, Image Anime. Midtown Comics, like I said, they just had the SH Monster Art stuff. So they, the highest figure I saw at Midtown Comics was the SH Monster Arts Kira figure. That was just shy of $100. So I'll be honest with you, I would pay $100 for that because it's really that awesome. That's just me. So after all the toy hunting, what did I buy? So everybody wants to see what I buy. You ready for it? I didn't buy anything. I didn't buy diddly squat. There's just nothing that caught my eye that I said I need to have. I absolutely felt like if I bought something, I was going to buy something just for the sake of saying I bought something. But I'm not like that. I don't just buy stuff just to buy. I know I buy a lot of stuff. I buy what I like. I buy what I'm attracted to. And the other thing is I don't like buying stuff without knowing what its value is, the information behind it, where it came from, when it was released, all that stuff. I do my homework before I buy anything. I'm not just going to go buy this. Oh, duh. What is it? Well, I paid $2,000 for it. Oh my God, you're an idiot. That should have been only like $200. I'm like, oh, no. I like to know what I'm buying. So, there was a lot of stuff that I saw. So, a couple things that I thought were interesting. I actually almost bought something, but it was not Godzilla related. I almost bought the Figure Arts Vegeta figure from Dragon Ball Z, for those Dragon Ball Z fans out there. So, yeah, I didn't buy anything. James didn't buy anything either, so, you know, but that's okay. I absolutely went on this trip for the sake of hanging out with fellow Godzilla fans. That was the best part of the trip, was getting to hang out with Paul and James. You know, it was awesome. I really wish that a couple other people, you know, were going to be with us. But next time, man, my goal is to get this bigger and bigger. You know, G-Fest started really small. I mean, we could start doing our own G-Tours, or, you know, I'm not G-Tours, sorry. That's JD's thing in Japan. But, you know, it's a fresh vinyl tour. I want a fresh vinyl bus going around Manhattan. Okay, that's what's up. It's probably never, that's never gonna happen. That's okay. Maybe if we get enough people, we can fill a bus up. You know, it'd be crazy. But we're definitely gonna be doing this again. Next time I head down to Manhattan is gonna be for May 16th. You all know what that says. And that's what's up. But I'm thinking maybe the next time I would try to get together with a bunch of people. It might be in the fall. There's a couple reasons behind that, but you know, with May 16th coming up, we'll be in Manhattan. Then we got G-Fest in July. So you know, trying to space out the events to keep the interest going. All right. So now the last thing I'm going to talk about is Japanese food. We went to go eat Japanese food. And it was my first time having ramen, and oh my word. For those people that are out there and you eat that cup of noodle, like ramen, cup of noodle, you don't know what you're missing out. I've never had cup of noodle anyways. That's just like poor man's food. Sorry. I mean, you know, I'm sure to get your X Plus figures, you know, we have to eat that sometimes. You know, hey, we got X Plus figures to buy. But, we went to this one restaurant, and we had ordered some appetizers, and I tried sake for the first time. Pronounce it right. I started saying it's Sakai. That's wrong. Don't say, it's not like Yuji Sakai, it's sake. It's very good. You try it cold and you can try it hot. And I liked it both ways. I actually like the hot version, the hot sake, better than the cold. We were killing some beer, some Sapporo beer, Japanese beer. Had some cool appetizers, octopus, some shrimp, chicken, some steak pieces. And then we headed to, damn Paul, what's it called? Ippudo West. And that's where we had dinner. We had a big bowl of ramen with poached egg, all noodles. And the thing is with ramen is like, you know, the Japanese people, when they eat it, you know, they grab your chopsticks, and you're just supposed to, you know, suck it up. Paul does a really cool, you know, you're supposed to suck it up like a vacuum. But I was kind of doing it, but I noticed that when I was doing it, the noodles would go just smacking all over the face, and getting, you know, ramen soup all over my face on my Fresh Vinyl shirt. It's kind of funny. I was drooling on myself, literally. But it was a good time. You know, if you guys, it was a blast. It was an absolute blast. We were there from 10 in the morning to 11:30 at night. You know, we were hanging out, having a good time. I actually felt like I was in Japan, and I can't wait to go to Japan in 2015. I really can't wait. But it was a great time. It felt awesome being around a bunch of Japanese people. Like, at the same time, I felt like an outsider, but I felt at home. You know what I mean? So, it was an absolute blast. Paul, James, you guys are great. I can't wait to do it again and get more people involved. Maybe next time I'll buy something. You know, who knows what new stuff is going to be out in the next few months. But, Fresh Vinyl attacks New York City. Success. Absolute success. So, I hope you enjoyed the video. I know I'm a little kind of all over the place. I'm still tired. Like I said, we didn't leave New York City until 11:30 p.m. I didn't get home until 4 in the morning. And I got up the next, you know, the day of this recording at 4 in the afternoon. Ridiculous. So, that is my field report. Thank you for watching. And remember, buy vinyl, fresh vinyl!